Good afternoon, Club 17, and welcome to our very first virtual meeting in the history of our 110-year-old club. We hope you're doing well. Hope you're practicing social distancing and staying healthy out there. Keep washing those hands and keep doing all the things that our CDC and all of our health experts are saying to us. So obviously we're navigating a variety of different uncharted waters through this pandemic, and certainly it's affected our club. Just last night I was trying to prepare for this session today, and I pulled out my handy-dandy President's Manual, my training manual, and looked up in there to see if there's anything on how to handle a pandemic, and of course, nothing. Then I looked up, well, how do we conduct a Facebook Live event? Nothing. So of course, today is our first run, and we're going to give it our best shot, so please bear with us. So today I'm excited to welcome our new Rotarian, Jay Scherger, with us today as our speaker. Jay is the Director of E-commerce Innovation at the Kroger Company, and we had actually already asked him to speak to our club to talk about all the effects of e-commerce on this economy that we have. We were going to do that later in the spring, but we asked him to come today to actually give a response on how Kroger is dealing with the pandemic as well and the things that they're doing to lead and manage in this area. So welcome, Jay, and I look forward to hearing your comments. Well, our club has been working extremely hard over the last several weeks, making sure that two things happen. One is that our members stay engaged, and then we're also working on a response from our club to help our community in this time of need. So some of the things we've been doing on the club engagement side, one new thing that we just announced, or we will announce shortly, is next week we're going to have a social distancing spirit week on our Facebook page. And each day there's going to be a theme to what you should all post on that Facebook page to make it a little bit of fun over the course of that week. So on Monday, for example, the theme is going to be Media Madness, which you're going to share what you're watching or reading, maybe your favorite Netflix movie or favorite book that you're reading. Tuesday is School Spirit, so you're going to show us your school spirit and post a variety of things that will exemplify that. And Wednesday is Take a Walk Wednesday, so your job is to go outside to get some steps in and snap a picture of where you've walked, some pretty spring scene that you can post to Facebook as well. And lastly, on Thursday, it's going to be Throwback Thursday, which will be really, really fun, I'm sure. We want members to post a photo from your past or wear something from your past to share. So I can't imagine all the trash talking that'll go on with that particular day. And last but not least, Friday, your job is to post your favorite Rotary or fond memory that you've experienced over the course of your membership. So I'd like to thank Tim Bear for allowing us to borrow this idea. Linda and Tim have been working on this, but it's hopefully going to create a little bit of fun next week for us as well. So there'll be more information that'll be posted on our Facebook group page coming your way. Next, we have our first virtual Rotary After Hours Happy Hour, and that's going to take place on April the 17th. That's a Friday at 7 p.m., and we're looking forward to everybody participating in that. I've had a few of those happy hour Zoom events over the last couple weeks, and honestly, they're a lot of fun. So hopefully we'll get to see all of your smiling faces during that virtual happy hour as well. And last, on the fun side, I wanted to talk a little bit about our March Madness campaign. We decided to do a what-if March Madness campaign this year, and we started out with 68 teams, and after yesterday, we're down to just 2. So yesterday, we held our semifinal matchups, and Christy did an awesome job in managing this whole process from start to finish. But yesterday, our first semifinal was a battle of the Bulldogs. The Ivy League Yale Bulldogs, which were led by Nancy Reese, and they narrowly defeated the Butler Bulldogs, coached by Jeff Pastor. In the other semifinal, the Providence Friars, led by Tom Noonan, outlasted the Cinderella team of the tournament, a mid-major by the name of the Belmont Bruins, who were coached by Kay Atkins. So today, Rotarians, Providence, and Yale will face off for the big prize. So Tom and Nancy, are you ready? Today's winner earns the grand prize of $500, and the runner-up will get $160. And just to make sure you're aware, there are no losers in this tournament. In fact, we're giving back to the first person who lost their game their $20 entry fee. And that's going to go to Bruce Brandstetter, who is the coach of the Northern Iowa team. So congratulations, Bruce. All right, now the moment you've been waiting for. Just as Christy has done in the past, I'm going to flip a coin to announce today's winner. And appropriately, I'm going to use a four-way test coin. And on one side of the coin is the rotary wheel, and that will serve as the head side, and that will belong to Tom Noonan. And on the reverse side is the four-way test language, and that'll belong to Nancy Reese and the Yale Bulldogs. So I will now flip the coin. And the winner is Nancy Reese with the Yale Bulldogs. So congratulations, Nancy, and you will take home the grand prize of $500. So congratulations. Hope everyone had fun with the March Madness contest this year. So next up, I wanted to talk a little bit about some of our good news when it comes to our Club Matters. And for those that don't know, we had some great news that came our way about 10 days ago, and that is our World Affairs Committee had applied for and actually successfully received an $89,000 Rotary International grant with district matching funds for the Madagascar Healthy Village Project. So congrats to the entire team, and in particular to Ariel and Hux Miller, along with Barbara Dickerson, for doing an amazing job in maneuvering the grant process. And I have to admit, and I think everyone knows this, that our World Affairs Committee is truly on a roll. They're doing some amazing things above and beyond this that you're going to be really proud to hear of. Secondly, I'd like to announce some exciting news as it relates to a dues structure change. Several months ago, I had proposed to our board of directors that we explore offering all members the opportunity of paying fees on a monthly basis, and whether it be your monthly dues or your monthly lunch fees. So we've been offering this to our young professionals for many years now, but we felt like it was important to study this, to pursue this as an opportunity, because we wanted to remove a barrier to those folks that might be considering membership. And also we wanted to also study different ways that we could prevent certain club members from leaving our club at the dues payment cycle time. So we assembled a group of board members and a subcommittee to explore this concept. We asked Linda Muth to poll all of the large club conference executive directors for their input to see what they've been doing over the years. And we took all that information, and ultimately this subcommittee proposed to the full board the fact that we want to offer the ability for all members to pay for their lunches and dues on a monthly basis. And I have to say that the timing couldn't be better, especially given the light of this pandemic that we're facing. So coming July 1, you're going to have the option as a Rotarian to pay your invoice, your dues invoice, one of three ways. Obviously, monthly payments, as I've mentioned, via credit or debit card. You'll also have the ability to pay every 6 months via credit or debit card or check, and that's the normal process we've been following over the last several duty or pay cycles. And then lastly, we also created an opportunity for those members who want to pay on an annual basis to receive a discount by paying in full via check. So lots of exciting things that we talked about, and I really think it's going to be helpful as we continue to grow our club over the next several years. So before I introduce our speaker, I wanted to also relay some timely member news as well. And I wanted to, first of all, congratulate Jack and Sue Scott on the birth of their newest grandson, Mitchell Allen Rose. And Mitchell was born last Friday the 27th at 3 a.m. in the morning. I'm sure, Jack, you were wide awake at that time. And their young son weighed in at a whopping 10.4 ounces. So Mama and baby are doing great at this point in time. So congratulations to Jack and Sue and your entire family. Next, I wanted to relay some news about past President Bud Dornetti. Our buddy Bud had surgery on Monday morning to remove a brain tumor. And his surgery was successful in removing 90% of the tumor, but he's going to have to go through chemo and radiation over the next several weeks to shrink the remaining part of the tumor. And true to form, Bud is in great spirits. I can only imagine his humor and laughter as he's maneuvering this whole crisis in his life, but he's in great spirits, and he's currently in rehab at TriHealth. Feel free to text him with any well wishes, but obviously no visits are allowed in the hospital environment today because of the coronavirus restrictions. So there's more details that are available on our Facebook page as well. And lastly, and not least, I wanted to congratulate past President Julian Magnus on his, get this, his 50th anniversary with the Rotary Club of Cincinnati. What an amazing feat, and we'll celebrate this when we return to our face-to-face meetings in the future. But congratulations, Julian, and you've been an amazing member and such an important member in our club for many, many years. So thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Okay, well, now the moment you've been waiting for. Let me introduce our guest speaker, Jay Scherger. Jay, as I mentioned, is the Director of E-commerce Innovation at Kroger, and he's responsible for sourcing, designing, and launching new business and innovation opportunities across the Kroger enterprise to foster their digital growth. He works with various partners within the organization and business leaders to understand the variety of goals and customer needs that Kroger has, and to formulate new e-commerce strategies and offerings that can help drive their growth. And on a personal level, Jay actually joined Kroger in 2016, first with the subsidiary 8451, where he led the digital mission there. And he worked on also the Roundy's integration and the customer strategy as well there. And prior to 8451, Jay worked with retail and consumer market companies for over 13 years, including dunnhumby, McKinsey and Company, and the Dish Network. And interestingly, his consulting career with McKinsey allowed him to be able to get involved with leading clients and projects in the U.S. and Europe, which spanned a variety of different grocery retail areas, office supplies, hypermarkets, movie theaters, and fast food restaurant institutions. So on a personal level, Jay holds a bachelor's degree in accounting from the University of Dayton, and he also has an MBA in marketing and strategy from the Thunderbird School of Global Management. So welcome, Jay, and we look forward to hearing your remarks. And I'll be asking Jay some questions that were supplied by our members here shortly after he's done. Jay?
Thank you, President Dave, and thank you for everyone tuning in. I really appreciate the reason to get out of the house. It's definitely helpful in these days. My name is Jay Scherger, work for the Kroger Company, and I'm here to talk to you today about our response to the COVID-19 pandemic. 2 comments before I get into that. One, I'd like to thank some of our Sandusky, Ohio Rotarians for tuning in. Hey, Mom and Dad. And 2, no, I do not have a toilet paper stockpile in my garage to sell at black market rates. Sorry about that. So COVID-19, as a grocery industry friend of mine mentioned, it feels like a national hurricane, right? People act differently around hurricanes. When a hurricane is approaching, people stockpile. During the lull, they are sheltering in place, and afterwards, you're trying to get back to normal. And while hurricane is an imperfect analogy for a pandemic, there's really similar themes in that we prepare on the approach, we weather the storm, and then we rebuild and renew afterwards. So you'll see a lot of those themes in our response to the COVID pandemic. And honestly, it's pretty lucky for us that we have plenty of experience with hurricanes in our southern states. If you think about Texas and the Louisiana areas, as well as the Carolinas, and we've got both operating teams and leadership that have a lot of experience in managing through hurricanes. So that is helpful for our organization. But what is our response to the COVID-19 pandemic? It's really threefold. First, it's about grocery fundamentals. Second, it's about COVID-19 specific responses. And lastly, it's about accelerating our mission. So let me just walk through these. Grocery fundamentals. doing what we do best, what we're built to do with excellence, is really how we create the best customer outcomes during these times. So if you think about what a grocery retailer is built to do, we work with our suppliers, both our consumer packaged goods companies, our farms. We work with those suppliers to bring in goods to our supply chain, our distribution networks, and our trucking and transportation, both of which that are working around the clock these days. And then we get those products to stores and work through the store execution of stocking shelves, making sure that the groceries are picked for e-commerce orders, things like that. And so when we do all those things at a high level of excellence, you're able to walk into a store and say, this doesn't feel any different. This feels like a normal time. That's the best that we can do, is make it feel when you walk in that it's nothing out of the normal or out of the usual. It just feels like you're at a grocery store doing your normal shop. So that's number one. Getting the grocery fundamentals right is one of the most important things we can do in this time. The second thing is around COVID-19 specific responses, and that falls into two camps. One, it's safety, and two, it's around the commercial and the business aspect of it. So let's talk about safety at first. It's about associates to begin with. So making sure that our associates are safe in the store, whether that's equipment for them. We've put up plexiglass around the checkouts, whether it's getting them gloves and hand sanitizers. It's disinfecting their workstations. And then we've got expanded paid sick leave to ensure that associates feel good about staying home when they're not feeling well. The second in safety is around customers. And so having the social distancing cues in our stores, having limits on people coming in, and then it's ongoing disinfection of all of the things that people touch on a regular basis in the store. So the checkouts, the baskets, the carts, things like that. For seniors, we actually have some senior hours going on as well to help our more vulnerable customers in this time to have more space in the stores as well. One other thing on safety that I thought was quite interesting was the suspended return policy. And that is critical because we don't want people taking products out into the world and then bringing them back, largely because that increases risk both for our associates and things coming from outside that we don't know where it's coming from. And then also putting these things back on the shelf obviously creates larger risk for our customers. So the suspended return policy is actually a big piece of keeping people safe as well. The second part of the COVID-19 response is really around the commercial side and making sure that we're ready to execute in that space. And so we've actually hired 24,000 people already in the past few weeks, and we're going to be hiring 20,000 more in the coming weeks. And that's through both local efforts as well as hiring partnerships with some of the major companies that have been having to furlough or lay off employees, like Macy's, Kohl's, local and regional restaurant chains, people like that. We're also providing higher wages and bonuses to our staff, both to keep them engaged in this really challenging time, but also to make sure we've got people in the stores to help serve our customers. And then lastly, from a business perspective, we're looking at keeping those great promotions going so that we know customers can continue to stretch their dollars during this tough time. So those are the COVID-19 specific responses for safety and the commercial aspect or the business aspect. And the last response is really around accelerating our mission. And there's two things I'll mention there. One, it's around zero hunger, zero waste. So Kroger is committed to reducing hunger and reducing our food waste in the communities where we serve. And so we're putting forward an additional $3 million to help food insecurity during this time in our communities. And we'll continue to push for an ability to reduce waste and make sure that people have enough to eat during this time. And the second is around redefining customer experience with e-commerce. So we're helping more people than ever get into the e-commerce space with offering free pickup, allow people to try it as much as they want during this time frame, and some innovation like our pickup only center out in Mount Carmel on the east side of town, where we've actually turned a store into a completely e-commerce location where you can only do e-commerce. So that's really our response to COVID-19. And for me, like a hurricane, For us, it's about helping people to handle the approaching storm, to shelter in place when it's there, and then help our communities and our customers rebuild after it's gone. And so all of these are really about that. And beyond those specific responses, though, I will offer a couple helpful tips or tricks. And there it comes down to, number one, go big and go early. And by go big, I mean go to the bigger volume stores. So in our area, the bigger volume stores are Oakley, Newport, Fort Mitchell, Blue Ash, Anderson Township, Harpers Point, Liberty Township. Those are the big volume stores, and the bigger volume stores are more likely to have the items that you need when you go. And then I will say go early, because most restocking happens late at night or overnight. And therefore, when you get in the morning, you have a better chance earlier in the morning to get the goods you're looking for. I would say we have senior hours in Cincinnati, every store from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m., Monday through Thursday. And I will say to shop around, both go to multiple Kroger stores, and this is the only time I'll say this, go to other stores as well, because you never know who's got what supplier, who's able to get them what products. So if you really need something, I would say there's multiple ways you can get it, whether it's a Kroger, a Walgreens, or even, a Meijer or another store. Secondly, I'd say try e-commerce. So grocery pickup is free today. There are a number of stores that offer it in the area, as well as the Mount Carmel store has an expanded number of time slots that you can use pickup. So there's opportunity there. And then if you want to try something different, Vitacost.com is one of our brands or our websites that you can go to. They've got packaged healthy foods, vitamins, things like that. And they actually take phone ordering. So if you see the number there, 1-800-381-0759, that's where you can call and actually place a phone order for delivery. And then lastly, if you know someone that's in need of a job, we are definitely hiring, as I mentioned. So jobs.kroger.com. We've got plenty of jobs in so many communities. So if you know someone that is in need of a job, we've got them. So thanks for the time today. Stay healthy. And back to you, President Dave.